Hey everyone, thanks for joining us for Hub's Big Ideas. I'm John Giegengak, and I'm here with my colleague Dave Tice to report to you some of the key findings from our recent research. And Dave, I'm particularly excited for this one. As you know, in December, we published the latest wave of our annual Video Redefined study. And this study looks at how much time consumers spend on different kinds of entertainment content, TV, but also social media, video games, music, and lots of other things too. And there are some really dramatic findings that we found this time around. When it comes to how people are spending their time and how they're likely to spend it in the future. To start with, one of the questions in the survey asked viewers to estimate how all of their entertainment screen time is allocated across different kinds of content. And across all the respondents, people estimated about a third of their time goes to traditional TV shows watched on any platform. But if you dive down a bit more, there are some really dramatic differences by age group. For instance, people 35 and over spend 43% of their screen time watching TV shows, and only about 20% of their time on gaming or social media video combined. But if we look at Generation Z, people between the ages of 13 and 24, they are almost diametrically the opposite. They spend 43% of their time on either gaming or social video, and only 17% of their time watching traditional TV shows. In fact, they spend more time on gaming and social media video individually than they do watching TV. What do you make of this change, Dave?
Well, John, the argument has always been that people move towards traditional style TV as they age into different life stages, which is still true to some extent, but seems to be providing diminishing returns to those firms that are depending on that happening. And that brings us to another important distinction, the screens that young people are watching. Half of young people 13 to 24 in our survey say the time they spend watching non-premium online video takes away from their time watching regular TV. And this plays out in the survey as we see younger people saying they spend almost 3 times as much as their viewing time on a phone, as do people age 35 or older, and just a quarter of the time viewing through a pay TV set-top box, as do older people.
Wow, Dave, I agree this is a huge distinction. The stuff that you watch on your phone is not the same as a traditional TV show, but there still are only 24 hours in a day. And all that time spent on your phone leaves less time left to watch traditional TV shows. I do think there's a silver lining here for media companies. Today, technology allows any company to get their content onto any screen, including a phone. And it suggests to me that there is a big opportunity for traditional media companies to flourish if they can adapt their content and how it's distributed to these new viewing habits, including viewing on a small screen. And as we look down the line into how these trends will evolve in the future, that brings us to maybe the most important question that came up during the study. Will Gen Z age out of these habits, or are these new behaviors that are here to stay? And you alluded to this earlier, there are a lot of behaviors as a young person that you grow out of as you get older. For instance, things like Red Bull or avocado toast, or putting your couch out in the front yard when the weather gets nice. But my gut tells me, and our research tells me, that this new Generation Z focus on gaming and social media video is something that's here to stay. They're not going to grow out of it. In 2022, the video game industry generated more revenue than the music and movie industries combined. On the social side, TikTok has tripled the number of users in the US in 2022 as it did in 2019. And not only are these platforms are they gathering more users, but they're becoming more entrenched in people's everyday lives. Just as one example, during COVID, young people used games like Fortnite and Minecraft, not just as a pastime, but as a utility, as the mechanism with which they were able to keep in touch with their friends that they couldn't see on a daily basis. And there is a ton of evidence that these habits that they've formed during that period of time are things that are going to stick with them over the long run.
Well, unfortunately, we won't really know the answer to that question for another 15 or 20 years, when hopefully we will both be long retired and sipping Mai Tais by the pool. But what we do know is that TV, in its broadest sense, has survived the first generations who have grown up as video gaming or as digital natives. And TV is likely to survive this next wave too, by redefining itself yet again. Well, everyone, thank you for joining us today. I'm going to go back to my VHS tapes and cable TV while John powers up his PlayStation and checks his TikTok feed. But please let us know your thoughts and opinions in the comments. Until next time, this is Hub's Big Ideas signing off.